Sound design. Who even cares? Right, ladies and gents, let's talk about sound design. So essentially he's just imagining her, so that her soundtrack fades out. We've got this high-pitched ringing noise going on. He looks down the platform, and that's when we have our soundtrack come in. So we're going to be going through this clip from my short film that I just posted. And first of all, I just want to say a massive thank you to everyone who's been supporting it so well. It's received so much love, and I can't thank you guys enough, so thank you very much. I got a couple of requests to do some videos about the sound design, so that's what we're going to do now. And we're going to be taking a look at this clip when our character puts her headphones in and then the music starts playing, and I'm going to show you what's going on. So first of all, we have this solo track, which is essentially just our background music, okay? And I do a pretty quick fade out, so you'll see, and it basically just fades out, and I wanted to have some kind of like, this is the kind of thing that I wanted, right? So kind of like a reversed whoosh. So I wanted something that ends very abruptly, and that, I think that works really well. So we've got the whoosh, and then, okay, let's see what else is going on. This clip is essentially just a bit of background. This is sort of just like general information for the scene, like setting the scene. Where are we? Okay, we're hearing the intercom of the train station. Okay, this makes sense, right? And then I wanted to cut it off very abruptly, so when I play this with the whoosh, you'll hear, right? It kind of, because she's putting in like a noise cancelling headphone, that's sort of what we're going for, right? So if I play these together, okay, these three tracks, okay, then it cuts out. So because she puts the right earphone in first, what I've done is I've panned the audio all the way to the right, so you only hear it in the right headphone if you're listening with headphones, which obviously you should be. And then what I do is I keyframe the pan so that when she puts in the second one, it quickly pans to both, okay? So, and actually in hindsight, I think it would have been better if I was recording this from behind her, because then you see her putting in the right headphone and you hear it in the right. Whereas from this point of view, it's on the left-hand side of the screen, so it's a little bit... But I wanted to keep it consistent with what she is experiencing, which is why I have the music coming in on the right. So the music comes in very quietly, so I start at -50, okay, and I'm keyframing this up to -40, so it's going up 10 decibels. And then this is the point where she puts both in. Okay, so if we just look at the volume keyframes, so I'm going from -50 to -40 to -18, okay? And then I sort of brought it back down a tiny bit when the second one comes in, because you sort of get the effect that it's louder when it comes through both. And then with the pan, you'll see it's still, so pan 100 means it's all in the right. So if I show you, so if I took this all the way to the left, it's only coming on the left headphone, and then if I took it all the way to the right, there you can sort of see what that's like. So let me just take that off. So essentially I kept it at 100, so only on the right headphone, and then the moment she puts in the left headphone, it goes to 0. So you can see this tiny, tiny, tiny little change, and this is what it sounds like. So it gets louder, and then it goes from one into both straight away, okay? And then I've got a little bit more sort of ambient noise because we've got a different shot here. So her walking. It would have been nice to have some footsteps, but we didn't record any footsteps. And then for the shot from his perspective, and you might have noticed the orange and the purple sort of indicate whose perspective we're watching it from. From his perspective, we want the music to be quite muffled, right? So if I just play you the two soundtracks. Okay, it sounds quite muffled. And then I sort of faded it in there to match with the focus pull on her. So I'm just getting a tiny bit louder, going from his point of view to her point of view. And the way that I've done this is with the equalizer. So I've basically just brought down these two sort of points, and that is giving us the muffled. Right, so if I bring these back up, it's going to be a lot louder as well now. Right, it just sounds normal. But if I bring this down, okay, this is going to take out the low end, okay? And then if I take 3 down and pull 2 up, it's going to take out the top end. So it's a bit more muffled, but we still have the bass. So I just want to take out both. Right, and you should play around with this and see what you like, see how you feel. And then in order to sort of sell this effect a little bit more, I introduced background audio from the actual video clip itself. And what I'm doing is I'm fading it in slowly. So when you listen to it with the whole thing, it kind of just aids that transition a little bit. Cool. And then when it goes back to her point of view, this one doesn't have the equalizer adjustment, as you can see here. And what I've done is I've also made the escalator sound. So if I just play this to you, I also bring it quite far down when it switches to her, so you can see that. And this is, I'll show you, I've just done this with keyframes, so that's 3 to -13. So what I'm doing is, so I've got this at 3 decibels, right? And if I just kept it there, okay, and if let's watch this back, right, it's okay. But if I put a keyframe here, so I click this, bring this down to where it was. Now let's watch it back. Can you see how we just sort of get immersed back into her world, which is, she's wearing noise cancelling headphones. We're in her world. She's not aware of her surroundings, etc., etc. Okay, now let's take a look at the second little section, which I think is really nice in terms of sound design. And let's just watch it. So essentially he's just imagining her, so that her soundtrack fades out. We've got this high-pitched ringing noise going on to sort of give you the idea of, like discombobulation, or he's like just going mental. And then, okay, wait, this is lagging quite a lot. But then he looks down the platform, and that's when we have our soundtrack come in. Okay, nice still of the sign. And then he looks down the other end of the platform, and it's a different platform. And okay, let's break this down. So first of all, this is the song, and I fade it out quite rapidly because the next chorus was going to start. So I fade this down all the way to -50 and then to -100, okay? So this is fading out, and as that's fading out, I've got this Atmos effect coming in. So this is just a plain single note, okay? And this layered with the ringing noise, which I've got in this track, really just creates a nice atmosphere. So, and I fade this in very slowly, just as the soundtrack fades out. So if I just play you these two tracks. and then he looks over and sees that she's gone. So, and I actually combined this, I think it's a triangle wave I can't really remember, but if you search up like tinnitus or ringing sound effect or something like that, then you'll be able to find something like this. And this one is quite quiet, but it does get louder towards the end. Okay, if you're listening, if you're not wearing headphones, you might not even be able to hear this because it's so subtle. But this combined with the Atmos effect gives us this, right? Mixed with, and basically when you have one thing fading out, you want something else to be fading in at the same time. So you don't just want to have sharp breaks in your edit, but you also don't want the things to not overlap and like at all. So if I place this here, it's not going to sound like a smooth transition. Whereas as one is fading out, the other is fading in. That's when you get a smooth transition. Do you see what I mean? Okay, cool. Then this track, we've just got some... Yep, this is our other sort of tinnitus sound effect. So let me take this off. So if I combine the two, we sort of got two different things going. So this is one, and this is the other one, and then combined, it sounds like this. And then I've got some sort of ambience going on up here. When you're filming different shots and you've got different audio for each one, I would recommend you try to balance the audio levels of each one. And you can either try to fade them in and out, or you can just place them all next to each other like I've done here. And as long as you have other stuff going on, you're not really going to notice these sort of sharp audio changes, because this sounds pretty, you can hear the individual cuts, right? But if I take it off and play everything, it flows a little bit better. Okay, so I've got this going on. Okay, then what happens? So you can see all of these people on the platform, right? And then the sound of all the people disappears when he looks down the platform. So he turns and then everyone's gone, right? And that's what we want. And then our soundtrack comes in. So just with the soundtrack, this is when it starts. Cool. Nice. Okay, and then the only other thing I added was this sort of... I don't even know how to describe this, but look, you'll hear what it sounds like. Just to give you that dramatic, cinematic kind of oh shit moment, right? So he looks down the other end of the platform and he's on a different station. Like this, he's at a completely different location. So this sound effect was just to sort of accentuate that. There we go. And then for this transition, I don't know why it's lagging so much. For this transition, I just added this sort of deep whoosh sound effect to sell it. Because the whole point of this one is that now he's at a different station, and this was two separate shots. So as I pan up, it cuts to a separate shot of him standing up. And to sell that, I just added a little... Right, there we go. So I think I'm going to leave it here. I don't want to make this video too long. Let me know what you guys think. If if there are some things that still aren't clear or that you want to see more of, please let me know in the comments. And I'm going to make another video about camera settings, exposure, sort of what a shot looks like in camera before it's been graded, sort of on the set, if you will. But yeah, I hope this was useful as a first sort of introduction as to what the sound design looks like behind a short film. So yeah, I think I'll just leave it there. And thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.